Yes, we won the war against the darkness. Today at Survivor Series War Games. But it did come with a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is that this happiness fighter has now got a broken happiness muscle due to finance. My name is Hobbsy and welcome to the Happiness Fighters Army, where we're all about fighting for happiness, our dreams, our successes against our own version of our own darkness, be mental health, physical health, life situations, or the big bad world right now. Yes, that is correct. Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter and her Happiness Fighter Army team won in their War Games match against the Darkness and Darkside at Survivor Series War Games today, but she did take a hit to her happiness muscle, which is broken now and will be putting her on the shelf for at least a couple of months. And that's why in the next month you will not be seeing her basically on the skit series, and it'll be someone else from the Happiness Fighter Army team taking over the skit. And talking about Survivor Series War Games, let's talk about it. I will say this Pilly wasn't like, oh my god, out there, but it wasn't too bad for what they delivered. And I just want to go through my review of each match and the whole PLE and where I can think people and storylines can go from here on out. So with that, let's get on with it, shall we? Now, I want to iterate why there is wet patches on my shoulders and why I'm wearing this cooling rag at the moment. Girl over 8, so she's not feeling 100% right now, and she's feeling really warm, and when she feels like this, she has to stay cool, and this is the way I do it. Hopefully by the time I post this, I'll feel much better, but for now, this is how I'm going to do the video. So with that, let's get on with the review of Survivor Series War Games 2024. Now, first off, we had the Women's War Games match, which in my eyes should have been the last match of the night, and I'll explain why when I get to the Men's War Games match. But these women killed it in this War Games cage. There was so much chaos, so much enjoyment, and this is my favourite match of the night. So with that, let's get on with the review and where I can see future storylines going for the women in this War Games match, shall we? First off, happy birthday to Naomi for the 30th of November, which is War Games Day. Great present for her to be in a War Games match, so that's fun. Secondly, Bailey shaved the war word into her head or hair, and I love that. I love Mummy's outfit. It wins best outfit, best look of the night. It was brilliant, and it just got better when she took the mask off. I am obsessed with this look. It just really worked for Survivor Series War Games. Now we start off with Bailey and Nia Jax in the War Games cage. And at one point, Bailey took a piece of her outfit off and used it as a weapon on Nia, and Nia used it on Bailey. Love that. Then we move on to the next member, as Team Mummy had the advantage. The next member of Team Mummy to go in and help Bailey was Naomi, and she brought in a kendo stick and a weird weapon, a toilet seat cover, like the top of the toilet. And I was like, that's weird. But then it gets used later in the match. The crowd chanted happy birthday to Naomi, which I loved. Just showing some happy birthday wishes to Naomi. Then the next team member for Team Liv to enter the War Games cage was Candice, after she knocked back Tiffany, who wanted to enter next. So there's some sort of rift going on there that's going to still be played out. I love that. And she brings in a couple of steel chairs. Finally, we get some weapons more into this. The next teammate for Team Mummy was Bianca Belair, and she brought in a trash can and a fire extinguisher, and I was like, yes, more weapons, yes! So that was good. Oh, and she also brought in a chair as well. Then the next teammate for Team Liv to enter was Tiffany Stratton, which she brought in a trash can that was filled with weapons and where her Money in the Bank briefcase was in the War Games match. Because she didn't come out with it. I was like, where is it? Where is it? It was in the trash can. Then the next teammate for Team Mummy was Io Sky, who got a special painted trash can and climbed over the top of the War Games cage and set that trash can at the top of the War Games cage. So I was like, she's going to use it later in the match, and she did, and I'll get to it later. And then we have, for the next teammate on Team Liv, was Raquel Rodriguez. She was going to bring in a table but didn't. Okay, a little bit let down, but Raquel doesn't really need any weapons. She's strong on her own, especially with her teaming with Nia for a little bit in this match. I'm going to say it. Future tag team champions, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez. I would love to see it. And the last teammate for Team Mummy to enter the War Games cage was Mummy herself, Rhea Ripley. And she grabbed a table and had a tug-of-war moment with Raquel, and I loved that. And at one point she broke the toilet seat over Raquel's back. That was awesome. And then the last teammate for Team Liv was Liv Morgan, and it looked like she was going to run off and run away. And this is when I thought, okay, Becky might come back and stop her. But no, she just went and grabbed the supposedly baseball bat that broke Rhea's orbital socket. And then she eventually entered the cage. Those two had a stare down and juked out a little bit. And then Liv was down and out, I think. Not 100% sure. My memory is not 100% at the moment. And then there was this moment where Rhea just took the mask off after headbutting a couple of people with it. And her eye makeup was, it was supposed to be like a moment like, I'm all better, I'm all healed, my orbital socket's all better. And yeah, I love that moment. And then the match officially started. And yeah, this happened after the match officially started. At one point, we had Tiffany Stratton at the one corner of the top of the War Games cage. We had Io at the other corner, top of the War Games cage. Io put that special trash can that she brought in on top of her head and did that move that she did last year at War Games. And it was just brilliant to see that again from Io, to fly so high, and I love that. Then Tiffany did a swanton bomb off the top of the War Games cage as well. Love that for those two. And then at one point, Tiffany had the Money in the Bank briefcase out, and Liv and I were down, and you didn't know who she was going to play on, but then a distraction happened and it didn't get played, which I reckon she's going to play in the future. Would have been love to do here, but there was so much chaos, it just wouldn't make sense. And then Io used the fire extinguisher at one point on Raquel, I think. Yeah, it might have been Raquel or someone, and it caused a distraction. So then Raquel eventually got handcuffed to the ring by Mummy, which had been tried to be handcuffed earlier in the night by Liv and Raquel. So that was fun, and yeah. And then we had a code breaker by Liv, and then later Liv and Rhea were at the top of the War Games cage, and it looked like Liv was trying to do Oblivion and take Rhea down, but Rhea countered it, did a Riptide off the top of the War Games cage, onto Liv, through a table. Rhea gets the win, and Team Mummy wins the whole War Games match. And I love this, and I'm going to say this War Games match for the women was so much better than last year's. So all these women deserve their flowers, deserve their props. And where I can see storylines going for all these women is, well, with Nia, it's probably going to be Tiffany and Candice arguing Maybe Tiffany cashes in on Nia. Something like that. Bianca, Bayley, and Naomi, I feel it was going to be some sort of storyline around Jade Cargill being taken out. Something like that. Liv, Raquel, and Mummy and Io. I think what's going to happen is maybe they might have Liv and Io's title match that Io deserves. And then maybe Liv loses the title to Io because maybe someone helps, I don't know. And then she blames Mummy because she's distracted her and all this. And then they go after Mummy again. And then maybe this is when Becky Lynch comes back and teams with Mummy to take on Raquel and Liv. Something like that. That's where I see all those going, those women's in their storylines in the future, and I just cannot wait to see all that. The women's division is thriving right now, and I'm loving it. Now we move on to the next match, which is Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. Now, I've been trying to work out for weeks what vibe Shinsuke Nakamura has been trying to give off to us WWF fans. And with his entrance tonight at Survivor Series, it makes so much sense that he is like an evil samurai warrior. And that's the vibe he's giving off. And I'm loving it. And he used the connector of the two rings on LA Knight and did a Kinshasa. Sorry, I cannot pronounce that word right. And basically got the win in the end. So, Shinsuke Nakamura is our new United States champion. And I think LA Knight's not going to be happy about this and wants a rematch. And I just see this feud continuing. If not, I think Andrea could come into this picture and they have a feud. But yeah, congratulations to Shinsuke Nakamura. You deserve it. Then we move on to the Intercontinental Championship triple threat match between Sheamus, Bron Breakker, and Kaiser. This match was awesome. It was really good. We had the ref cam, but I don't think we got many ref cam moments used in this match. Kaiser used steel chairs, two of them at one point. Sheamus and Bron Breakker teamed up to beat down on Kaiser. Bron Breakker does his famous jump from ring to announce table move. That was awesome. Sheamus does the 10 beats on Kaiser and Bron Breakker at this point in this match. That was awesome seeing it done twice. Kaiser grabs Sheamus' shillelagh, but then Sheamus grabs it back off of Kaiser. We had a Celtic Cross at one point by Sheamus, but it didn't really pay off. It didn't get him the win. And then it looks like Sheamus is about to win the match at one point. And Kaiser pulls the ref away. I was like, it's a smart move, but it's a dull move. So yeah, so that's why Sheamus didn't get that pin. I would have loved to see Sheamus win, but I get why Kaiser did. Kaiser uses Sheamus' shillelagh that he gets again on Sheamus a lot, very brutally. And then in the end, Bron Breakker does a spear to Sheamus and gets a win. So Bron Breakker is still an Intercontinental Champion, and I love this for him. I was going Kaiser, but in story-wise, but Bron Breakker, I was always going to be okay with any of these men winning this match, so yeah. Now, who do I think could go up against Bron Breakker in a title defense? That's interesting. There's a lot of people. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. They could go Kaiser and Bron Breakker one-on-one. They could go Sheamus and Bron Breakker one-on-one. But I think they're going to move on from those two. So, yeah. Then we move on to the second to last match of the night, and that is Gunther versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship match. And let's just say this match was awesome as a singles championship match. I didn't take many notes for this match. Okay, at the beginning of this match, Gunther looks very nervous. So, at least the Street King maybe got in his head a little bit. We had the big cymbal chop from Priest at one point. Priest's shoulder got injured pretty quickly in this match. And then Gunther attacked him mostly for this match. And the resilience that Priest had to keep fighting in this match has gained my respect more. We had a triangle choke from Priest at one point, and it looked like he was going to win, but then Gunther did a pin the shoulders move, so he had to break it. We had a powerbomb from Gunther, raises Ez with a sore shoulder from Priest. We had a Kimura on Priest's bad shoulder at one point, but Priest got to the ropes in time, so that was cool. I was like, yes. And then, of course, Priest's old buddy Finn Balor came out and got involved. I did like how Gunther took out Finn, so that was a little bit of respect moment there from Gunther for me. But because of this, Priest got choked out with a sleeper and Gunther retained his title. So there's 3 ways this could go in the future. 1, Priest is out of action for a while, Finn goes after Gunther's title, Finn wins the title, then it's Finn versus Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship later on. 2, you could have a triple threat match between these 3 men, Priest, Finn, and Gunther for the title, or you could have Gunther face someone else and then it just be Priest and Finn at Saturday Main Event, which I think, unless Priest isn't 100%, I think that's the way they're going to go. But they could also go with the Finn and Gunther title match, and then Priest cost Finn his title match. So there's possibilities, but they're where I think this story is going to continue. And then we move on to the last match of the night, which is the Bloodline Civil Wars match between the New Bloodline and the OG Bloodline, and my Tribal Chief's Bloodline, minus Punk, of course. Now, this match was a pretty much a letdown. I get, you had big man, muscly man, and all that, but they could have brought more weapons into this match. We only got, a couple of tables and a chair or 2. Not like in the women's War Games match where we got, toilet seats, kendo sticks, fire signatures, Money in the Bank briefcases. It just was a bit of a letdown in the weapons department for me. First off, we have Tama Tonga entering the War Games cage for Team Solo, or Team New Bloodline, as I'm going to call it in this review. And Tama Tonga was climbing the cage around a monkey. So that was brilliant, with his character being a Tasmanian devil monkey sort of aggression. I love that. And then we had the OG Bloodline come out separately. You had Sammy, and then you had Jimmy come out, and then you had CM Punk come out. And as he's coming out, he pisses off the New Bloodline team members that are in the waiting cage while they're waiting for the match to start, or waiting for their time to enter the War Games cage. He pisses them off. He antagonizes. He pokes the bear, basically. And I'm like, that's just a dodgy move in my books. And I just didn't like that. And then the OTC came out, and they all got locked up in the cage together. That was interesting to see CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the same cage together. It was like seeing me with my most hated person in the cage. It just wouldn't work. And then, of course, Jay comes out in his Yeet entrance, and as Jay's entering the War Games cage, he sits on the top of the War Games cage and does the yeets from the top. So I love that. So to start off this War Games match, we had Mr. Yeet versus the yeah dude Tama Tonga. I love this. It's like yin yang, good and evil. So it worked. Now, Solo's team or New Bloodline got the advantage in this War Games. So they would have their next team member in first and then the OG one and so forth until they're all in the ring. So the next teammate for the New Bloodline was Big Bronson Reed, which I love this. Putting him in early is a good move. It caused a lot of damage onto Jay, even though I love Jay. I love this. So, and yeah, it worked. And he brought in a lot of chairs as well, so we got chairs at least. So that was good. And then the next team member for Team OG Bloodline was Jimmy Uso. So we had the Usos in there near the beginning, and I love that. He didn't bring in any weapons. Fair enough. Then the next team member for the New Bloodline was going to be Tonga Loa, but Solo's like, no, we're going to send Jacob Fatui in. So you got Jacob Fatui, Big Bronson Reed, and Tama Tonga up against the Usos. Brilliant move by Solo, I will say, putting two muscly men in there. And yeah. Then the next member for the OG Bloodline was supposed to be CM Punk, but Roman's like, no. And then it ends up being Sammy. I love this little not getting along moment. And that worked. Sammy didn't bring in any weapons. The next team member for the New Bloodline was Tonga Loa, of course. He brought in 2 tables with Jacob's help. Okay, we got some more weapons. Not too bad. Then the next team meet for the OG Bloodline was going to be Roman Reigns. But CM Punk's like, no, you push me away. I'm going to go in. And this is where CM Punk earned a little bit, the tiniest little bit of my respect back, because he brought in that toolbox. So he brought in another weapon, but that was it. That's the only good thing I'll say about CM Punk in this match. Well, maybe a little bit more, but not too much. And at one point, he used on Jacob Fatui, and then he just got back up Jacob. So I was like, that guy is like someone from another planet in my eyes. And then the last member for the OG Bloodline was Solo Sikoa, and he used the War Games cage door on Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy with the help of his other Bloodline members, and then he got in with a chain. Now that comes into point in a minute. And then the last member for the OG Bloodline was Roman Reigns, right? But before Roman came in, Solo locked the War Games cage with the chain so Roman couldn't get in. I was like, that's a smart move, but Roman's going to find a way in. So Roman finally gets to come in, and we're like, how's he going to get in? Is he going to rip the cage apart? Look like. But no, he just fought and climbed his way over the top and made his way in. And the match started. Roman helps everyone but Punk to get to the feet at one point. And then Paul Heyman comes out and he's like, you two have got to get along. It's War Games. If you don't, Solo's going to win. Like a motivational pep talk. Which I like that from the Wise Man, but I just don't like it. Who he's one half he's telling it to. Let's just say that. And then there was a stare down between both bloodlines, and then they just went at it. We had an Uso splash which I missed the Uso splashes. They were awesome. So to see that come back. At one point, Roman accidentally spears Punk, which I was like, yes. I was so enjoying it. You guys know I don't like Punk, so. But it was because Solo moved. So I was like, maybe it's personal. Maybe it's on purpose. Shit. One point, Bronson Reed did a Death Valley driver onto Punk. I was like, yes, destroy Punk. So thank you, Bronson Reed, for that. And I got a prediction right. Bronson Reed did a tsunami off of the War Games cage, but it did not pay off because CM Punk pulled Roman off the table where Bronson was going to do the tsunami onto. So yeah, it didn't pay off, but I predicted he was going to do a tsunami off the top of the top of the War Games cage. So yay, one for me, one prediction I like getting right. And I love this for Bronson. Just brilliant moment. Wish it would have paid off, but it was a brilliant moment. And then it looks like they're going to get along. After CM Punk saved Roman, Jimmy Uso does a splash off of the top of the War Games cage. We have 3 super kicks because at this point Solo's surrounded by all OG Bloodline members plus Punk. So we had, like I said, 3 super kicks from Jimmy and Jay, one separate and then one separate each and then one together. We have the Hulami kick. We have the Hulami kick from Sami Zayn, the Go to Sleep from Punk, and then we have a spear from Roman Reigns, and he gets a win in the end. And at the end, everyone's hugging, bar Punk. Punk hugs Jimmy, Jay, and Sami, and Roman and Punk just shake hands in a respectful moment. And then, as Punk's coming out of the War Games cage, he hugs Roman and he says, if I'm down and out, I'm going to cash in that favour sort of thing. So that I think that's going to be played out in the future. Not right now, but just in the future. Like maybe he's up for the title and he needs someone to help him out. It could be when we're supposed to be getting Seth freaking Rollins versus CM Punk moment in the future, maybe. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. Now, where do we go from Roman Reigns and Solo in that storyline? There's only one thing left. Roman's shown that he can be the superior tribal chief. So the OTC is probably going to go for the Ulafala and face Solo in a bloodline match at Saturday Night Main Event. That's where I see it going, and I'm here for it. So overall, Survivor Series wasn't too bad. It just wasn't great. We didn't even have any surprise returns or anything like that. I think they might be coming this week, maybe. So overall, I give WWE Survivor Series War Games 2024 an 8 out of 10. And with that, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you are having a healthy, happy day. If not, I'm sending you healthy, happy hugs your way.